Okay, in this video, we're going to be doing one of the last of the top 5 fan favorite poll that we did a few months back, and that's to try and make a wine using dried fruit. Well, I found some dried mangoes, which meets the criteria of not having any sulfites or preservatives, and I think I'll try using that to make a 1-gallon batch of mango wine. Hi, I'm Charles and welcome to DIY Fermentation, your site for doing fermentation on a shoestring budget. Okay, to make our dried mango wine, we need, of course, dried mangoes. What I have here are 6 bags, 5 ounces each, of dried mangoes. 1 bag is equal to approximately 1 full mango. Not quite sure of how much sugar we're going to need, probably 3 or 4 cups, but we'll be using our hydrometer to see if we can get a good reading of about 1.080 later on. We're going to need the juice of about half a lemon. We're going to need 1 black tea bag. We're going to be using wine yeast. This time around, I'm going to be using a Red Star Premier Blanc wine yeast. Of course, if you don't have it, use whatever you got. We're going to be using a number of straining bags to hold our fruit. We need something to do primary fermentation in, preferably something with a wide mouth opening so we can get our straining bags with fruit in there. In about 5 to 7 days, we're going to need something to transfer our primary fermentation into our secondary fermenter, so we need a 1-gallon carboy for that. We're going to need an airlock with stopper. We're going to need about 1 gallon of fresh filtered water. Of course, a hydrometer is going to help us determine how much sugar we really need to put in, and to help us to determine what our final alcohol by volume level is going to be at the end. And last but certainly not least, we need a sanitizer to make sure that everything has been properly sanitized so we don't have any problems with our fermentation later on. I'm currently using Star San, but if you're using One Step or some other sanitizer, that will work. And that's what I'm going to be using to make this wine. Now for this part of the video, all we really want to do is get the dried mangoes from the bags they came in into our straining bags. Okay, now that we're in the kitchen, what we want to do at this point is we want to, first of all, get our tannin substitute mixture in the works. Any black tea bag will do. There's no specific amount of water you need to put in there, about half a cup-ish to get the process started. And as for our remaining water, we're going to go ahead and pour that in. And this was 1 gallon of filtered water. And with that having been done, all we need to do is bring this up to a boil and simply bring our tea mixture up to a simmer. Okay, now that our water has come to a boil, we can go ahead and turn off the stove and turn that one off. And we can now go ahead and add our dried mangoes. And while we're at it, we may also go ahead and add our tannin substitute. Let's go ahead and put the cover back on. And let's wait for that to come down to room temperature. All right, now that our mixture has come down to room temperature, we need to find out what our original gravity is, we can find out just how much sugar we need to add to get it up to our target gravity. And for me, that's going to be 1.080. So let's take a good reading here. I mean, there was already some natural sweetness in these mangoes coming out of the bag. Ooh, quite a bit. All right. Oh, that's riding high. All right, let's see what this reading actually is. All right, looks like we're going to be working with 1.050 initially. So we're going to go ahead and start by adding, we'll go ahead and add 1 cup of sugar. We'll do it in 1 cup increments and find out how many cups of sugar we need to add. Okay, I added 1 cup of sugar and came up with a new reading of 1.090. Overshot my mark by a little bit, but still within range. I usually try for 1.080, 1.090. So there we go, 1 cup of sugar. All right, next step is going to be moving everything from our pot to our fermenter, getting as much of the juice in the fermenter as possible. That was the easy part. Let's see if I can do the hard part without spilling it all over the place. All right. Let's go ahead and put our lid on. Now, if you're using a fermenter that does not have a built-in airlock, then you'll be using a fermenter that will that you'll need an airlock with. This one does have its own built-in airlock, which is the little red dot. It does come with a regular S-shaped bubble airlock, but I don't use that one as often. Let's go ahead and add the juice of our half a lemon, which is acting as our acid blend substitute. All right, now that we're ready, the next step in our process is to go ahead and add our wine yeast. Using 1/4 teaspoon, which is all you really need per gallon. If you can, just go ahead and sprinkle it kind of evenly around. And normally you don't need to give it a swirl, but I did get some of the yeast on the wine bags and I just want to incorporate those. At that point, go ahead and put your cap on. And now we can move to the final step. Now, one of the last things that we need to do for this part of the process is to go ahead and label our creation. Now, in this particular case, we're making a dried mango wine. We started it on this date. And our original gravity reading started at 1.090. Now, there are, of course, several more steps and several more months involved in the process of making this wine. And you can find those steps in my playlist on winemaking operations. But basically, that is that. That's all you need to do to get this process started. Okay, it's now been 12 months since we first started making our batch of dried mango wine using dried mangoes. All I can say is that it was kind of a costly venture. I don't think I'll be doing that again. If you can dry your own mangoes ahead of time, that's probably the way to go. A couple of observations. Born 12/2021, ABV came in at 11.81%. And, of course, it's been pasteurized. Actually, it's been, apart from being bottled and corked and labeled, it's also been degassed, back sweetened some time ago. So it's really just a question of just cracking open the bottle and seeing what it tastes like. There is a slight bit of haze in the bottle. Did not go completely clear, but comparing it to what it my wines used to be when I first started making wines, when I was drinking them after just a couple of weeks. It's a distinct improvement. So let's go ahead and crack open one. Let's see if I can get the cork out intact. Yes. Okay. It does smell sweet, and it does smell like mangoes, which is a bit of a departure from the first time I made mango wine using fresh mangoes. Used, I think, about 3 pounds of mangoes, and I should have used at least 4 or 5 to get more of a mango flavor. So I was not really impressed with that first time effort. But this time, let's see what we got. You smell mangoes, and it's really bad at all. You don't smell the alcohol. Okay. I guess the taste is in the tasting. See what we got here. That's actually not bad. It's like drinking a mango drink. As apart from, say, distinctly mango juice, the mango flavor is predominant. It's predominantly there. If it wasn't for the cost of those dried mangoes, though, it's actually cheaper just to add in some extra fresh mangoes if you want to make this wine. But all in all, it doesn't have a heavy body. The acidity is just right. The tannin, if I used the teabag method, and I don't recall, I have to look at the original video to remind myself how I made this. It's a refreshing drink. Yeah, overall the body is light. If you did not know that you were drinking wine, you would probably think you could just open a bottle of some mango flavored drink from the store. At 11.81% ABV, is probably one that might sneak up on you if you decide to consume the whole bottle. And when you're thinking about drinking this wine, as I am, I can see taking not just little sips. This is not a sipping wine, it's a drinking wine. As I like to refer to it with distilled spirits, this is one that you can actually just sit back and enjoy. This would taste better chilled. I don't think it's going to stand up to ice, but this would definitely taste better chilled. So, to give you my final take on the dried mango wine, if you're making mango wine and cost is no object, you can go with the dried versions, and it turned out quite well. Just making sure that there are no preservatives in the package to retard the growth or inhibit the yeast, the growth of the yeast. It's actually not bad. I've got 4 remaining bottles. I can see myself setting aside at least 2 or 3 of these, and the next time I've got a group of people over, and we're in a wine tasting mood, yeah, I wouldn't mind pulling out one of these as well and saying, hey, try this. So again, if you like what you see here, do a couple of things. 1, click on that subscribe button. 2, there is a favorites button at the bottom of the video. You'll see that somewhere listed on your screen. Go ahead and click that, show this channel some love, make a small donation. Greatly appreciate it. Better yet, become a member. Better yet, become a Patreon. To help support this channel. Links to everything I've used here, with the exception of the mangoes, which I got from Walmart, you can find in the description and comment section, the initial comment section of the video. So until the next video, I'll see you later.